Welcome to Elizabeth's Chronicles. If you love true crime, consider subscribing. Scott Peterson was sentenced to death on March 25, 2005 for taking the lives of his wife, Laci, and their unborn baby, Connor. He is currently at San Quentin State Prison in Marin County, California. The district attorney had decided not to seek the death sentence again due to how painful it would be for Laci's family. A judge has ordered an evidentiary hearing to establish if there was juror misconduct during Peterson's 2004 trial. The judge has stated, material facts are in dispute. The dispute is concerning juror Juror Nice, who the defense claims lied on the questionnaire for jury selection. They claim she was the victim of a crime. Nice says she had not been. The defense claims that she lied to punish Peterson, because of what she had been through. On the questionnaire, it also asks if you have been involved in a lawsuit. Nice said no, but the defense claims that her restraining order counts as a lawsuit. Nice states she did not make the correlation that a restraining order is considered a lawsuit. Nice had obtained a restraining order against her then-boyfriend's ex-girlfriend for stalking and threatening the couple. She was 4.5 months pregnant at the time. Then, in 2001, her ex-boyfriend was arrested for domestic violence, and Nice was the victim in the incident. She was pregnant with her other child at this point. He pled no contest to the charges, and was ordered to take domestic violence treatment program. Nice states this entire thing is fabricated, and lies. She says she did not even contact the police, and did not at any time consider herself as a victim. However, defense claims this is just another example of Nice lying.
It's devastating for me. It's sickening to me. And it's hard because other than you, I haven't been able to get my story out there. People are going off of secondhand information. They're not actually coming to me to find out the real story of what happened with me. Is anybody taking into consideration how that would make Sharon feel? Having to go through that again? For an actual lie. Scott's appeal lawyers are making up this story. The story is not accurate. Everybody's reporting I was Scott's pen pal. I was never his pen pal. I wrote him because during the trial we never heard from Scott. I wanted to hear from Scott, and my questions to him was why? Why did he do this? There was no friendship, there was no pen pal, there was nothing, but I wanted to hear from him and hear why. Did I expect that he would confess? No. But I wanted to hear from him. You know, here's a man that probably told Laci he loved her every day, told her she was beautiful, and all the while, he was planning to kill her. So that made me trust people less. How somebody can be so deceiving. I mean, even the family members, everybody thought that they were this perfect couple. And deep down inside, he was a monster. What I really want people most to know, and mostly I want the prosecution to know, I want Laci's family to know, and I want my fellow jurors to know that I did not lie to get on this trial to fry Scott. I did not. That was not my intentions. I don't regret putting him where he's at. do hate the fact that I was on that trial and what it did to me and what it's still doing to me. And I would never in my life, ever do it again.
During deliberations before convicting Scott, and on her jury questionnaire, she was asked, have you ever been a party to a lawsuit? Have you ever testified in court? Have you ever been a victim of a crime? And she answered no to all of those questions. And it was found that the answer to all those questions was actually yes. And the circumstances surrounding that was that she had been assaulted while she was pregnant by her boyfriend's ex. And she feared for the life of her unborn child. So that would have been something that the defense should have had a right to know and excuse her as a juror if they'd had that information. The jury questionnaire should have been completed properly, and that's the problem. It wasn't. So for jury selection, there was an error made by Judge DeLucchi. When you ask a juror if they're against the death penalty, they say, yes, I'm against the death penalty. You can't just exclude that juror. You have to ask them a second question. You have to say, even though you're against the death penalty, because it's the law of the land, would you be able to render that verdict? And if they say, yes, I could, then you need to keep them in the jury pool. And Judge DeLucchi dismissed every single juror that answered yes to the first question. So that's an example of an error that was made during jury selection in Scott's case. That's just one of the issues in the appeal. The defense had done a reenactment of what the prosecution alleged Scott did that day. You know, they got a boat similar to the size of Scott's boat, tried to load a dummy type body into it, tried to dump it out in the bay. In the defense reenactment, the rear right of the boat actually sank, and one of Mark's paralegals who was in the boat, ended up in the water. But the judge didn't allow the jury to see that. But then at the same time, the judge allowed the prosecution to do some reenacting that also didn't fit anything close to what would have actually had to be carried out by Scott. I believe that's a, constitutional violation of Scott's rights. Keeping with the boat theme, there's another appeal issue surrounding the boat, and that's when the jury was in deliberations and they asked to see the boat. And one of the jurors got into the boat and kind of attempted to rock it back and forth while it was on the trailer. And that's also an appeal issue because jurors aren't allowed to conduct any type of experiment. So that's an appeal issue as well.
Peterson's lawyer said it is apparent from her conduct before, during, and after the trial, that during jury selection, she failed to disclose numerous incidents that posed threats of harm to her unborn children. Peterson's lawyers continued, this enabled her to sit in judgment of Mr. Peterson for the crime of harming his unborn child. Jeffrey Carr has said in an email, Ms. Nice will testify, or be available to testify if subpoenaed, like any other witness. She has not yet been subpoenaed. A date for August 25th has been set for the evidentiary hearing. In the event that juror misconduct is established, Scott Peterson's sentence could get overturned, and either he will go free or he may face another trial. In October of 2020, the California Supreme Court ruled that a lower court should take a second look at Peterson's case to determine if his guilty verdict should be overturned. His own sister said this, I'm against the death penalty, but I do think he's exactly where he should be, she said during an interview with the Today Show in August 2020. I lost my sister-in-law Laci and my unborn nephew Connor, and I believe he should remain in prison for the rest of his life, without parole. Should Scott Peterson get a new trial or go free? Let's not forget that a beautiful person's life was taken, Laci Peterson, and a precious baby never got his first tooth, his first steps, he never got to go to his first day of school, his first date, or his first kiss. Even his first breath was stolen from him. Sharon Rocha does not want people to forget about Laci, or Connor. Sharon has pressed for Connor's law, which makes it a crime to harm a fetus during a crime against a pregnant woman. She's written for Laci, a mother's story of love, loss, and justice. There's a free trial to get the audiobook form of this book, from Amazon. If you want this free audiobook, the link is below this video. Do you think Scott Peterson should get a new trial? Let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy true crime and want more stories like this one, consider subscribing.